Okay, great. We're ready to go.
Sure.
Beautiful. So this will probably be like about a half an hour, 40-minute kind of interview. We're just going to ask you like some broad general questions and then we'll go into your policy. We'll be recording this and like potentially posting it on YouTube, and then we'll be writing like an analysis from your questions like over the next week or so.
Yeah,
just to
sure.
give
No
you an
problem.
idea of what our coverage is going to look like. Cool. Alrighty, Chuyi, did you want to start?
Yeah, sure. So we're just going to open with a little bit of an icebreaker question just to see that our tech is working, get you comfortable.
Yep.
What is your favorite USU food outlet on campus?
Favorite is definitely ABS because I love the ginger fish in ABS. Like that's the best thing ever on campus. So, yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, so we're just going to start off with a couple of general questions because, as I said, we'll be posting this online. So maybe just introduce yourself, your name, your degree year, your campaign color, and your slogan.
Okay. Hi guys, my name is Vikki, and my slogan is "We Got You." I'm currently a second-year student studying financial economics and international business. Yeah.
Great. And who is your campaign manager, or if you have multiple campaigns?
Oh yeah. I have one campaign manager, so her name is Phoebe. She's a domestic student.
Cool.
So are you in a political party? And if not, can you kind of like describe your politics to us?
Oh, okay. I'm not in any political party, and because I'm just international student, so I don't think I have a political view here in Australia. So I don't really. I'm like independent, I would say.
Yeah. In terms of like ideology though, do you like, can you kind of give us an idea of where you would sit on like the political spectrum? Like, would you say you're like progressive, conservative, centrist?
Okay, these terms are a little bit like confusing to me. I'm not too sure. I think I'm in the middle, maybe leaning. I don't know. I think I'm in the middle, and then I'm because I have like friends from like all these different type of like groups. So I would say maybe I'm like slightly more progressive because I have LGBTQ plus friends, and then like I really support them and stuff. But in terms of personal political view, I don't really have like a very specific view there.
Okay, cool. And are you in a faction on campus, or have you previously campaigned for any like student elections?
No, I'm not in any faction. But I did help out with my friend Benny before, so for his election last year.
Cool.
All right. So could I ask why you're running for USU Board? What are your reasons for running?
All right. So I became a campus activity coordinator this year, and that which allowed me to understand USU on like a deeper level. And then like in the process of like planning events and like interacting with students during events, I realized that there's like a lot of room of improvement for USU that we can do. And then for me, like I'm just joining the election because I want to be the person that's able to like, push for improvement and like really better the student experience on campus. So yeah, that's why I want to join.
All right. And what makes you think that you're perhaps better placed than some of the other candidates running? Do you think you have relevant experience or certain qualities that makes you, worthy or better than your competition?
I don't think I'm better than anybody. I feel like everybody in this competition is really good. I say for me, I think the difference is that I think some of them are running for their political party, so maybe they're trying to push for like a certain ideas and stuff like that. But for me, I'm just for everyone's benefit here. And then I've been like planning events and like working with like student life since like I would say like middle school or high school because I was a counselor, and this is the type of thing that I do. Like I always plan events, like look out for what students need. So I think in terms of this, I'm pretty experienced. That's what I was saying.
What are some of the events you planned at Sydney Uni, for example?
Okay, so I haven't really been I haven't really been a campus activity coordinator that long, but what I've planned so far is like I've been part of the Pride Festival, and then like, so far like the main thing I did was Pride Festival, and then the main event during Pride Festival was like Glitter Gala, which I planned. And other than that, I was a resident assistant in like UC's accommodation, so I planned like the monthly events and like some annual like big events. Yeah.
Okay. And okay, I might just hand it over to Maddie.
So which candidates are your top 2 favorites and which candidate is your least favorite? Or alternatively, which candidates do you think are more, like, because I know that that can be a little bit controversial, which candidates do you think you're most similar to and which candidate do you think you're maybe like least similar to?
Okay. Oh, that's a very tough question. I think because I don't know like all of them personally, so can't really say if I have a favorite or not. But I would say in terms of similarity, maybe like Ada, because Ada, I heard that she's a postgrad and then she's already been in Australia for a long time, but at the same time she's also an international student, which is like me. Because I don't particularly represent like a specific group because I have a lot of international student friends, but also like local friends. So Ada is like quite similar to me. I would say that. And then controversial, like very different. I don't know. I heard that maybe Nick and Ben is a bit controversial, but I don't know because I didn't read up about like what's going on. But yeah, I don't have a favorite or least favorite.
Okay, cool. And if you had to cut $1 million from the USU's budget, where would you cut it from?
Okay, so for now, in terms of the global pandemic situation, I would cut it from Make a Difference because I feel like Make a Difference is like it is for a good cause, it's for charity, but at the moment, I feel that USU is in a very tough financial situation. Like they can't even ensure their own like employee or like student well-being. So I don't think they have the like capacity to raise money or like do charity for like other people. So as of now, I will cut it from Make a Difference.
Okay. All right. So you mentioned the USU's current kind of precarious financial situation. Obviously, this is a topic that we've talked a lot to many candidates about already. So we're going to just ask you some questions maybe about sort of what the USU or what you would do as a board director in response to the financial situation. So firstly, would you support or stand against a university takeover of the union? Why or why not?
I wouldn't. Because I feel like if the university take over, like I feel like because USU is made for the student by students, if university take over, I feel like students' voice will not be heard as much, and then it might just like go off from like its own vision and purpose. So I wouldn't want the uni to take over USU.
What about the recent standing down of many of the USU's employees, over half of which are students? Do you think that was a good decision?
I mean, I was part of those. Like, I was being laid off because of this situation. Well, I mean, obviously, to me, it's kind of because I was like deeply affected by it. I'm a little bit I feel sad that USU wanted to let me go, but at the same time, I also understand that currently they do not have, or like there's better place to put their funds on than on me. I don't know, just a casual. But however, at the same time, I wish that USU thought of some ways that could let me continue working, like because I plan events, right? So maybe like I can help them plan like online events. Then they don't need to like fire me, because I kind of really needed this income. But yeah.
Okay. And maybe just one more, and then I'll hop over to Maddie again. Last year, obviously, free access was introduced with the new board coming in. Do you think that's still a viable situation given the current USU's financial state, or do you think we should go back to paid access?
I think that once you go free, you can't go back. Like once you already let everyone know that it was free, and you start charging again, they'll probably be like, oh, I don't want to be like USU member anymore. Like I think although it is like a good like revenue stream, like think of like charging for membership, but at the same time, a lot of minorities or like a certain group of people, they just can't afford to pay so much just to join USU, or like it will cost them a lot. So I think if we are thinking for all the students, then even though it's hard, we should keep the membership free and we'll look for other revenue streams.
Cool. So I've just got like kind of two more, and then we'll start moving more into policy questions and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So what's your opinion on how successful the current board has been? And then like more specifically, what's your opinion on Conor Warrett's presidency?
Conor Warrett's presidency. Okay. How successful? I feel like the current board directors, they're pretty successful because I've seen that like the kind of promises they made when they were running, like it came true. So like say Katie, right? I remember she saying that like her policy was to like renovate Wentworth, and I think she did make it happen. Like the canteen looks much better now. And then like say Benny in the policy they wanted to bring in some like traditional Chinese to like Yueping and stuff, and that happened also. So I feel like in terms of like successful, like they're pretty successful because they can push for what they like advocate for. And then in terms of Conor, I don't really know him that much, and like I don't really read up about what like specifically the president would do. So I don't have an opinion on that.
Okay, cool. I mean, so Wentworth, the Wentworth renovations were already planned before the election last year. So yeah, that was
Okay.
pretty, well, it was like international food on campus, that was kind of already happening as well. Which I think kind of speaks to the fact that it's like often many board directors will make promises and then those promises don't happen.
That doesn't come true, yeah.
Yeah, do you have like an idea of why that is, and like how do you plan on kind of navigating your time on the board to make sure that your campaign promises come true?
All right, I feel like first and foremost, the most important thing is that we make sure that the promises I make are like realistic, right? If I just make some big claims, but I know that like it ain't realistic, then obviously it wouldn't even happen. So I think maybe, some of their promises are a little bit too big for like, or like it might take like a long time for their promises to come true. That's why we don't see it happening yet. But for me, yeah, obviously I'll make like realistic promises, and then like after that, I'll try my best. If I really think it's best for students, I'll try to persuade everyone else on the board to like pass it. And another big reason is because I feel like because everybody has like different ideology and like what they think is the best. So even if to you like this policy sounds great, maybe to somebody else it's like man. So when they're voting for it, they're not really for it. Then they don't vote for it, and then it doesn't happen. So I think it's like a very big factor. Like what you think is the best might not be the best to someone else.
Yeah, right. And do you have like an overall kind of policy priority? Like which singular policy of yours do you think is the most important?
I can only choose one.
Yeah, you can only choose one. You can choose your favorite.
Favorite one. I think my favorite one would be, I have a policy where I say like I was promoting like free reusable cup. Like you can borrow reusable cup with your SS membership and then return it at any USU cafe. I would say that because when I was planning events this year, I think I read that like last year for Pride Festival, USU used up around like 10K paper cups in 3 to 5 days, which to me is like very shocking. And then like I'm a barista, so I care about this like coffee thing. So I want people to enjoy coffee, but at the same time, we are like being nice to the environment. So I think the reusable cup will really help everyone on campus.
Do you think that reusable cups are the most practical policy, given that we're in the middle of like a pandemic and most cafes have actually banned reusable cups?
Maybe not, because look, I came up with this policy when the pandemic did not happen yet. So I mean, okay, now that there's a pandemic, I don't know. I have another one. Like, because now the art students are joining us on the main campus, and I know that a lot of people really love the like UC's merchandise, and they want to have their own input. So I have a policy where I say like, I want to have like annual competition for students to design their own hoodie, and like the winner for that competition, they can have like a official, like their design can become the official UC hoodie design for next year. So maybe that one. Yeah. Because everybody can join and like online.
All right. Well, let's dive more into policy then. So let's talk a little bit about the UCID hoodie. So I noticed that you've put that front and center. It's the first policy in your statement. Why do you think that's an important sort of initiative, especially to be running in this kind of time?
Because I feel like hoodie or like merchandise is a kind of like school pride, you know. And then like when I feel of it, it's because like I feel like when I wear something, or like when I wear a school hoodie, I want to feel like I'm proud of it. And then like I know that a lot of my friends that say like, oh, this design is like, oh, this design is a bit lackluster. I wish that like students can design it a bit more or something like that. Because now I don't even know who's designing it. And then it's just because like if you because students are bored at home now also, right? And then if you let people, you know, have the chance of designing this thing, have a competition, then maybe you can like encourage them to have something to do. And you know, it's also something meaningful. Like, okay, during the global pandemic, I was bored at home, and then I designed a hoodie for you too. Like, yeah.
Okay. We also noticed that in your policy statement, many of your policies have been promised in the past, in past campaigns. So
Uh-huh.
things like more multicultural food and events, upgrading
Yeah.
the ISL, the reusable cup system, the affordable sanitary products. These are things that we've seen in the past from previous elections,
Mm-hmm.
or they're already maybe in place or in the works by the USU.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think are your maybe unique things that make students want to vote for you, as opposed to, you
Mm-hmm.
know, the policies that have been promised but maybe haven't been delivered in the past?
Yeah, like I feel like if it hasn't been delivered, like it's fine for somebody else to make the same promise also. Because if the previous person can't do it, doesn't mean like if the previous person promised but didn't do it, doesn't mean that I can't say and go and do it, right? And then I feel like some of the policies, say like the multicultural one, I mentioned it again because I feel like there's still people being like left out, even though USU is already trying to be as multicultural as possible. So on the campus, they like you don't see like Thai food, you don't see Korean food, like or like you don't really see much halal food. Like they like the really like the minorities. I feel like a lot of them are not being considered. That's why I wanted to bring up this policy again to like push for it. Um, I will only say like I guess because my background is so multicultural like itself, because I grew up in Singapore. So like I've really been immersed in like all kinds of cultures and like different groups and stuff. So when I look at these same policies, maybe other people already mentioned, maybe I have a little bit more unique perspective to it, and I'll look more into details to like, am I really including everyone already? You know, so like everybody can enjoy their student life on campus.
Okay. I guess to build on that, and I guess what I was trying to get at was, if many of these promises, and once again, you're right in saying that you definitely can raise them again, but kind of what makes you a new and exciting candidate, especially because, let's say, you know, you haven't really run in a past election before, you don't have that kind of, track record of stew poll and things like that. Why should students vote for you?
Oh yeah. I think they should vote for me because like, you know, it is for the fact that I didn't come with like what should I say? I came for the election solely because like I want to push for student life and not for any like political reasons. And then like I said, because of my multicultural background. So like I am able to consider like more groups of people, and then also like probably like a bit better understanding of how they will feel. Because say like if you have never been in touch with like we'll say Muslim culture, like you wouldn't really truly know what this group of people need, right? Unless you are one of them. I mean, I'm not one of them, but like I grew up with that kind of culture, so like one of those cultures. So like, you know, I'm a bit more well-rounded in terms of like my understanding for like the different groups and like what students would need. Yeah.
I guess just kind of like going off, you know, like recycling older policies. In terms of your review system, I remember that as a policy that Benny introduced last year in his campaign, and obviously didn't come to fruition. I guess I have like a couple of questions around that. Like one, like how will this operate in a different way to reviews on like Google or Yelp? And then I guess kind of like pushing that a little bit further, obviously, as you say, like a lot of USU staff have been laid off recently. That includes the USU staff at like cafes and restaurants. Do you think that like introducing a review system that will like kind of probably result in some kind of punitive measure for staff is really going to help build morale after the crisis? And do you think it's like appropriate given, you know, like do you think that this is like an appropriate way to interact with USU staff?
You mean using the review system?
Yeah, like introducing like a formalized kind of review system such as you've proposed.
Oh yeah, I think it's the appropriate way because like, I mean, okay, for me, right, the review that I wanted to, like the review channel that I wanted to be is like, say, I can easily put a review or like I can write a feedback on like USU website or just USU app. Because last time when I tried to like, or like when I wanted to feedback, I opened the app, like there's nowhere to like feedback, and like I'm too, I don't know, I feel like writing email is like too much. That's why, yeah. I think it's a good way because like you need like an effective channel for like people to say what they want to say so that you can hear their feedback. Like I think USU might not be hearing enough feedback as of now because like there's no way to like, or like there's no like a very good way for students or even staff to tell, like, say, I don't know, if you want to let the board directors know like what is really happening or like what do you really think. You don't really have like a good channel unless you try to write an email to them. And yeah, because like to be fair, USU, like to a lot of students, USU is like not relevant or like it's not cool or like it's not what it is. And that's why I feel like if you let students truly give their feedback and then you can like USU can improve on what's like real feedback, then it might make a better name for yourself, you know, among students also.
Do you think that the cafes and the restaurants should be the priority for this though? Or do you think it should be like other kind of activities and services that the USU provides? Like to me, the quality of like the coffee at Courtyard seems quite trivial in comparison to kind of the experience that students are getting through CNS or through Surge. Like, do you think that like this is like an appropriate thing to kind of like focus on?
I guess like it I think to me, right, the food can be like one of the, okay, because like I said, right, I'm like more for like servicing stuff like politics and stuff. Like, so to me, I'm a little bit more concerned about like, okay, are people enjoying like the food or like are they having a good time on campus? So like to me, food can be one of the focal points. But if I were to open like a review system or a review channel on the website or the app, obviously, I feel like there can be different categories. Like when you write a review, you can say, okay, is it under like food and cafe, or is it under events, or is it under like what like other reasons that you are writing this review? So like students can provide feedback for like literally like anything that the USU is like controlling. So if the USU, say like for USU's events, obviously they can. But if it's something that's out of USU's control, then you know we can read their feedback. But like, what can USU really do? Yeah.
Okay, cool. And then in terms of kind of like a proposed increase in job opportunities for students, this is obviously something that's already kind of like in place within the USU. As you know, being a former USU staff member, they quite frequently hire students into roles within their organization across all levels. So how is this really going to differ from the system that's really in place?
So the system that's in place is like, okay, I know you can have like pop editors, you can have like CACs, you can have like all these student leadership opportunities, right? But the thing is, obviously, these chances are very rare. And then I think what I'm trying to propose is that like for literally like job positions that students can take up, say like in the cafes, because I was a barista, right? And then I tried to apply to like USU Cafe last time, I think, but because I feel like, because there's all these like other people who are not students who can work full time and stuff like that, so they might prefer those more. And then like I have like a lot of friends, they want to work in the school, they want to work in USU restaurant or cafes, but they have like zero experience, so they don't know where to start. And USU only hire experienced people. So I think what I'm trying to promote is like, say all these casual stuff in cafes and stuff, we can try to like make it like student only, you know, like say, yeah, there can be one or two full-timers from outside, But other than that, for the like casual stuff, I feel like they should make it like just students. So like students who have zero experience, they have like somewhere to start. Like USU can help them start to have their first job, and then they can say they can move on, or like they can do something else instead.
You would propose like restricting hiring so it's almost like entirely within the university itself to just students?
I mean, yeah, ideally, because there's so many students who need a job in the uni, and then if the USU can provide them with training and their first job, which will make it so much easier. Like a lot of them want jobs, but they can't get a job outside because they never worked before, right? So if USU can be that platform that gives them this chance, gives them training, let them have some experience, then I feel like it will make a lot of students' lives better.
All right. I notice in your policy statement as well, there are a couple of things that I feel like maybe a little bit vague. I think especially on the improved CNS funding. So you talk about a more transparent funding system, you talk about equity, but I'm not really sure exactly what material kind of policies those involve. So what specific changes would you make to CNS funding to increase transparency and equity?
Okay, so I feel like because as of now, right, like I mean, like a lot of questions societies, but like I feel like the funding system, like it's not well informed. And say if you're like a smaller club, like it's more difficult for you to get funds from USU than compared to like a big club, you know. And then also when they changed the funding system, was it last year or last year? When they changed the funding system, they did not like consult like all the clubs, and then it was very confusing to everyone. So I think for me, if I were to make changes, I would like make sure that I consult every single club in society first and gather everyone's opinion, like what would be a better way, or how would everyone feel like, you know, they can get enough funding to make sure that they're happy, and then I'll go on about it.
So you would increase consultation in order to...
Yeah, I will increase consultation. Like if a club need, like I will increase consultation. Maybe I'll do like monthly consultation, or like, I don't know, 2 months seasonal consultation with like clubs in society to see like if their needs have been changing. Because like as time passed, maybe last time this funding is enough, but in a different time they will need more money, or like they need less money. So I will do seasonal consultation to make sure like everyone have enough funding to carry out the activities they have.
So apart from this kind of change in funding not being communicated clearly, do you think that the current board or recent boards have had other issues with transparency or related issues that you would try to solve?
No, I can't really think of a specific one now.
Okay. Maddie?
Yeah, so I just kind of like have, I think, one last question just based on your policy from me, which is you've indicated that you want to pressure the university to increase multilingual mental health services. I'm just kind of like wondering like exactly how you're planning to do that.
Right. I think this one is a little bit more difficult. Like I guess like if I can just maybe help with like the hiring process, you know, like maybe have some meetings with the university and trying to like persuade them like, all right, why do we have these kind of needs? And then like say for like caps, right, if we're hiring like the professionals, like if we need to increase hiring professionals, like what kind of professionals we should hire, like, or like what languages should we have, or like maybe we don't even need to hire professionals. We can have the current like professionals, but we hire some translators. So like, you know, when they're in a presentation, like, you know, the translator can just translate into like other languages, because this is like a real need. Like I have some Chinese friends, like they're trying to like get some like consultation and stuff, but they're so afraid to go because they can't really speak English that confidently. Like they're afraid that they can't describe how they feel, and like they don't understand what the professional says. So, yeah, I'll probably try to work on it from the translator perspective first, and then obviously it will be the best if we can hire like say professionals who are like bilingual or like trilingual. So yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously, like the hiring process for CAPS is not something that the USU like generally kind of has that much overview of. It's more of a university concern. So how are you proposing that like you as a board director will be increasing or like introducing some kind of multilingual mental health service? Like what kind of plan do you have to for lobbying and that kind of thing?
Right. I mean, we do have a like in Wentworth, there's a wellness center, I think so, on the second floor. So I don't know. I feel like for me, maybe I'll push for like USU hiring like a professional like therapist like ourselves, and then
Right. So you would push for the USU hiring like a therapist, because that's kind of like introducing a service that the USU doesn't really provide in any other kind of capacity. Like the USU doesn't really run any health clinics, doesn't have like, you know what I mean? Like that's more of the university.
Yeah, I know.
So are you suggesting that the USU should then introduce like a separate service to CAPS?
Yeah, I mean, like I feel like why not? Because like mental health is also part of like student life, like and like that's a cap like how there's only like 6 times that you can go to the CAPS for, and like that's like that's funny because like what if I need more than 6 times, So I feel like it doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt to have two separate channels for students to go to. Like those that want to go to the CAPS, they can. But like if they need like say if they need like like I said, like multilingual services for like mental health, they can come to USU also. Like I think we can have a therapist ourselves, like just like a small team maybe. I feel like it is about time for USU to start looking more into this, because since USU always do events for like Are You Okay Day and stuff like that, then why not make sure that throughout the year students can really be okay by introducing a service ourselves and make it multilingual, so that the minorities, or like students who don't speak English that well, they can access the services. Because as of now, I know that not many Chinese students or like international students who don't speak English are going to the CAPS because they don't dare to go.
Yeah, I mean, given that the USU's recently had to lay off like quite a lot of its staff, and it's like seems to be in pretty dire financial straits, it's kind of resorting to selling grocery boxes to stay afloat.
Yeah.
Do you think this is really financially viable to be introducing like a whole new kind of service aspect to the USU that hasn't existed before and is going to cost quite a lot of money to set up and maintain?
Yeah, right. I mean, obviously, as of now, I would say it's not possible now because of the financial situation. But when I think when I thought of these kind of policies, I was thinking more for like times where there's no pandemic, when USU is doing okay. So like as of now, I think USU, like if I become a board director, I'll focus on more thinking how USU can like recover their revenue, can recover their can go back to like the financial state last time first. And then after we solve these problems, then we can move forward to like push for all these policies that can benefit students.
Okay, cool.
And just kind of adding on top of that, do you think that the USU has a role in pressuring the university or taking a firm stance on things, or even criticizing the university at times, especially with maybe their actions on COVID? So there's obviously been a lot of discourse on the internet about things like, pass fail and Proctor and things like that. Do you think the USU has a role in taking a firm stance against that or for that? I don't know.
I know what you mean. Yeah, I feel that even though many people think that this is something that SRC should do, I feel that since USU is representing students, and like USU is for the students, so if it would benefit students or whatever, then I feel like if SRC should lead the action to like, I don't know, criticize uni or like do something, but then USU should also play like a support role, like USU should voice out and help out also, so that we can make sure that like students' benefits protected.
Okay. All right. Maddie, do you have any more questions?
No, I think that's it from me.
Okay. Well, did you have anything you wanted to add just at the end before you wrap up, or anything that you didn't feel like you got to cover?
No, not really.
Okay. Well, thanks so much for coming. Are you able to make the quiz this Friday?
No, because I have a class from 12 to 3.
Okay. Okay. We should be able to set up like a different time for you to do it, maybe on the same day, but we'll
Okay.
see with the others.
Yeah, sure. No
Cool.
problem.
All right. Well, thanks so
Thank you so
much.
much. Have a nice day, guys.
Thank you. Thanks for the chat.
Bye.
Bye bye.